Stop. Konnichiwa! We're going to make an amigurumi sunshine today, since so many people asked for it in the comments, and also little notes I've been hearing around work and around the street, and the little birdies have been saying, "Sunshine, please!" So here we go, a sunshine tutorial. This is a super cute stuffed toy. It would look adorable leaning against the pillows on your bed, or perhaps your couch, or stuck in the window, or anywhere else you think you need to hang some sunshine. I think this would make a super adorable gift for somebody, a new baby, someone who's moved into a new home, pretty much anything you can think of. Who doesn't want a little more sunshine in their life? So without further ado, let's leap into the super cute amigurumi happy sunshine tutorial! Yee! One super happy amigurumi sunshine. And for those of you who don't yet know, amigurumi is a Japanese word that basically means knit stuffed toy or knit small toy, and in this case, crocheted. So we need yellow yarn for the sun. This is a nice worsted weight yarn. You're going to need a small amount of pink for the cheeks. You're going to need a very small amount of black for the eyes, and a small amount of red for the mouth. I'm using my favorite crochet hook. It's a 4.25 millimeter or G6. A yarn needle, and a nice little pair of scissors. This is made in several parts. We make two fronts, so there's a front circle and there's a back circle, and then we make each of the sun points in one go, and there'll be, I should say, we make 7 individual sun points, but they're made in one piece. And the whole thing is crocheted together, and you stuff it before you crochet it all together. So we're going to start by making the first side, or the front of the sun, which is just a great big circle done in the round. It's an outward increasing circle, so it's your basic mathematical increase. We start with a cinch circle, so that is you take your yarn, wrap it around your fingers, take your hook, go through your hole, grab your yarn, pull it back up, wrap your yarn around your hook and pull it through that little loop, and that secures your cinch circle. Into this circle we're going to single crochet 10. So in your own time, single crochet 10 stitches into your cinch circle. And I like to work over top of my little tail because it helps keep the circle tighter, and also sort of neatens the process. So there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once you've completed your 10 single crochets, you're going to hold your work just below your hook, grab your tail, pull it tight, and that cinches your circle shut. Now, this is made in the round, so we do not join rows with slip stitches. We just work directly into the next stitch. And because we're increasing ever outward, we're going to go from 10 stitches in row 1 to 20 stitches in row 2, and the basic math of that is 10 times 2 is 20, so we're going to put 2 stitches or 2 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So here we go. Oops, you know what? I'm going to work my little tail into this. So you don't have to work over your tail. I like to work over my tail. It just neatens the whole process up. So now the basic kicker here is if you really know what you're doing, you can just zoom ahead. Or you can follow along with me. I am going to speed up the tutorial here and there just because this is pretty repetitive business. Because it's an ever-increasing circle, you're going to do 6 rows. So at the end of row 3 you'll have 30. At the end of row 4 you'll have 40. At the end of row 5 you'll have 50. At the end of row 6 you'll have 60. which means that you increase an extra stitch every single row. And I'll explain that in a second. So I've just finished my second row. That was 2 single crochet in each stitch around. I now have 20 stitches. Now we begin row 3. Row 3 is 2 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next, 2, 1, 2, 1, and so on. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. You can also count. So for example, if you can keep track of having put 2 single crochet into a stitch, you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on until you get to 30. That's typically what I do. And I'm nearing the end of my third row here. All right. Row 4, we are going from 30 stitches to 40 stitches. So the pattern is 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1, 1, 2 single crochet, 1, 1. So you go 1, 2 single crochet into the next stitch, a single into the next, a single into the next. So your base number is 4, and you ever increase up in sets of 4 until you get to 40. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 5, 6, and last set of 4, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay, so you may notice at this point that your circle is starting to warp, and that is okay. And the reason for that is because this is not the fine point of a hat or something really tiny that we want to lay flat. I mean, you can put it down and flatten, and it'll probably flatten, but because we're going to be sort of stuffing it later, that warping sensation will completely disappear, as you can see from my finished sun here. So that was the end of row 4. And remember, you can count your rows. And I think we're just going to zoom in here. And this is how you count your rows. So your center row, which is that where you started with your cinched circle, that's row 1. And you can clearly see row 2, row 3, and row 4 as they spiral out. We're going to put on 2 more rows. So this is row 5. We end up with 50 stitches. The base count is 5, so it's 2 stitches followed by 3 singles, and so on all the way around. And as you've probably guessed by now, the 6th row is 2 stitches followed by 4 individual stitches. That equals 6, so your base number is 6, and that takes you all the way around to 60. So we're just going to elapse a little bit of time here while we finish off our ever-increasing circle, and I'll see you on the other side. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. Okay, so I've finished my 6th row. I have 60 stitches all the way around. Now this is going to technically be the back because I've already gone ahead and made my front. So for those of you who are just completing your first circle, clip your yarn, just a short little tail, and just fasten it off. There's no need to do anything special or fancy here because this little tail is going to just get sewn into it as, or I should say crocheted down as we go. So you're going to take this time to make yourself a second circle. Once you've completed your second circle, don't cut your yarn. So just put it aside. You can take the time now to pause this video and make your second circle and then come back, and I'll give you a couple seconds to pause. Otherwise, I'm going to leap right into making the face. So the face is really, really simple. The first thing you want to do is create one of these little smiley face, dimply cheeks. So we're going to make two. I've already made one, and I'm going to show you how to make the second one. So you grab your pink, and if you're going to use the same hook, and I recommend you do, just give yourself a nice big loop and put your thing aside. And we're going to create another cinch circle. We're going to single crochet 6 stitches into the cinch circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Grab your yarn and your work under your hook, pull your little tail tight, and you're just going to close off. That's all there is to this. So you insert your hook into the next stitch, wrap your yarn around your hook, and you're going to cut a tail about 5 inches long, just so you can sew it to the face of your sun. And just pull it through that loop and fasten off. Don't worry about your tails because you're just going to stuff them under, or you can clip them if they're too long. So those are going to be your cheeks. Now, I think we should go ahead and sew the cheeks on first because that will determine where we put the mouth and where we put the eyes. If you're not comfortable doing that, then pick the center of your circle. So look at your center and then go down about 1 row. So you've got row 1, row 2. In the bottom of row 2, I would recommend putting your smile in there, and then you can label your cheeks on either side. And maybe just for the sake of the video, I'll put the smile on first. So you grab your length of red or dark pink yarn and your yarn hook, thread your yarn hook. And the first one I did, this little smiley face here, is a stitch, a running stitch that just covers basically 3 single crochets, so the bottoms of 3 single crochets. So I'm going to pick my center, I'm going to come down, I want, say, this hole to be the center of my smile, so I'm going to go back up. There's the center, there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So I'm going to bring my yarn out on that. I'm going to leave myself, hold it down with my index finger, but leave myself a little bit of tail. Count back, 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then 1, 2, 3. So I go up to the other side, come out the other side, and go back down through the middle. Happy smile. Simple as that. Then you just knot it off at the back. You can clip it if you want, but I'm just going to let them lie because they're all just going to get stuffed into it when they all get sewn together anyway. So there's your smile. So now you can feel a little more comfortable about where you place your cheeks. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm just going to, that's actually pretty small, so I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, maybe I will. I'm just going to pull up through one of these holes and grab my little short tail and pull it down. So it's just so it's out of the way. Good. Okay. So I'm going to thread my yarn and decide I want my cheek up pretty much at the end of my smile. I'm going to hold it in place And I'm just going to sew it down. And there's no real fine science to this. You're just going to pick up corresponding stitches on the face of the sun, and you're just going to sew around it once. Once you get back to the beginning, just make sure you have put a stitch through every single possible single crochet, just so it's on there really well. And then take your string to the back, flip your little smile over, and I cheat. I just knot it up with another one of the free-flying strings I have at the back there. Okay. So we're going to take cheek number 2 and place it about where we want it. I'm going to reach through with my hook through one of these little holes and just grab the short tail and pull it back. And I'm going to thread onto the yarn here. Yeah, hold it in place, make sure it's pretty balanced. And same thing, just sew it down to the sun. Happy little sun. Smiling. I'm going to have 2 of these. How excited am I? Okay. I want to make sure that it's right at the end of my smile. I want the smile to actually end in my cheeks. One more here. Okay, yep. And I'm just going to take that to the back. Flip it over, and I'm going to knot these 2 tails together. Excuse me. That's nice and simple. No weaving required because you're just going to have the whole thing stuffed and sewn shut anyway. So there's the hardest part of the face. Now we're going to put in the eyes. And since the Asian characters are regularly seen with shut eyes, that's because apparently in Asian culture, a smiley face is sort of, the focus is on the mouth, the big smile, and the eyes are shut. Whereas in, so the focus is on the shut eyes, sort of arcing like really happy upside down smiles in a way. Whereas in the West, our cartoons usually have a giant smiley face, and the emphasis is on the mouth, not so much the eyes. So a smiling sun is most Asian or happy looking if it's got little shut eyes. It's happy. It's smiling so hard it had to shut its eyes. I just love it. So cute. Okay, so same thing, much the same way we did the mouth. We're going to decide where we put our eyes. You can put them up a little higher, or you can put them close to your cheeks, wherever you want. I'm going to pick the middle, and I'm going to go up one, and I'm going to go over one. So I'm going to make my eyes come right out of my cheeks. And I'm going to pick this hole, and much the same way I did the sun's smiling mouth, I'm going to do the eyes, but only half the width of the mouth. And I'm going to pick the same corresponding one over here. Actually, I'm going to do this and come up. I'm going to go through here's good. You'll notice I kind of mess around as I go. I'm not interested in it being perfect. I'm interested in it being cute. So there. I think that looks pretty even. Same thing, just knot it off at the back. This is like one of the easiest faces you'll ever embroider. Alright, so your face is done. you're going to pick up your other circle now, and this is where it starts to get interesting. You're going to flip it over so that the back side of it is facing in, and you're going to pair up the two sides. And you're going to work actually on the back side, so I'm going to just tuck that little short tail in there. Grab your hook. And what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet through each stitch, and because these are identical circles, I know this looks awkward right now, but trust me, it'll work out. Because these are identical circles, there should be an even number of stitches for them all the way around. So we're just going to pick up the next stitch on the back circle and then go right through to the corresponding stitch on the front circle, and we're going to single crochet them together. And you're just going to carefully pick up each pair of stitches all the way around the entire sun and single crochet through them both, almost as if you're treating them as sort of a single row. Now, you can take your time doing this, you can speed through it, but before you finish closing the whole sun, remember that you need to stuff it. So you're going to leave yourself an opening before you completely finish single crocheting it shut. An opening big enough that you can put stuffing in and comfortably work it around with your fingers or your stuffed toy stuffing tool. I don't have a stuffed toy stuffing tool. My stuffed toy stuffing tool is usually my index finger, occasionally one of my fatter, longer crochet hooks, but this isn't, there's no real points or ends in this project, so you don't have to worry too much about being exact. And I'm just coming around the first quarter of my circle here. So here we go. So now we're going to stuff it. You can lay it flat and get an idea. Oh my god, you're so cute, you're so cute. So you see what I mean by the fact that the warpy, wiggly thing doesn't really matter as much. It's already starting to sort of even itself out, and once we get some stuffing into it, it'll be just fine. So grab your stuffing. And rip it into nice manageable bits. And just stuff it in there nice and evenly. Start at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to finish single crocheting this up. Might stick in a little more stuffing just before I'm finished. Make sure you're still crocheting through sets or pairs of stitches. I think that's enough stuffing. Okay, a couple more stitches. And that is that. So you just slip stitch into the next couple stitches to fasten off, clip your yarn, And that is the base of the sun. So you can just make sure all the stuffing is exactly where you want it. Now the next thing we have to do are make the star points, or the sun points. We're going to make 7 of these, and I'm going to demonstrate how to make one, and then you can pause the video and you can catch up by making the other 6. And they are done like so. You start with a cinch circle. Put your hook through your circle, grab your string, wrap your yarn, pull it back, cinch circle made. And we are going to single crochet 4 single crochets into the circle. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grab your work, find your little string, pull it nice and tight. This is also made in the round, and that may surprise you, but it's kind of I use this format a lot when making pointed objects, which I don't really want to have an obvious seam in. It's going to be kind of it's the same sort of increase concept that we did with the sun face, just that it's based on a pyramid concept. So bear with me, I'll explain. So the next thing we do is we start single crocheting directly into the next stitch. There's no joining because it's done on the round. We're going to single crochet 2 and then 1, 2 and then 1. So we go from 4 stitches to 6. So here we go. I'm also going to I'm going to work over my little tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's probably the most difficult one. Right, from 6 stitches we're going to go to 8. So we're going to single crochet twice into the next stitch. 1, 2, and then 1 into each of the next 2. 1, and then 1, 2 into the next stitch. 1, 2, and 1 into each of the next 2. 1 and 1. That gives you a total of 8. We're going to go from 8 to 10. So you single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then once into each of the next 3. 1, 1, 1, and 2. 1, 2 into that stitch, and then 1 into the next 3. 1, 1, 1. That's a total of 10. From 10, we're going to go to 12. So you single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then once into each of the next 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, and 2 into this stitch. 1, 2, and 1 into each of the next 4. 1, 1, 1, 1. That gives us 12. Now we're going to go to 16. We're going to do this a bit differently, because obviously if we were to follow the pattern it would go from 12 to 14. So we're going to go 2 into the next stitch. 1, 2, a single crochet into each of the next 2. 1, 1, and then 2 into the next stitch. 1, 2, a single into each of the next 2. So we're at a total of 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and then a single, and a single, and then the last lap, 2 singles into this stitch, and then a single, and a single, and that gives you a total of 16. That's it for the increase. Now we're just going to single crochet into each stitch all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, if you're a perfectionist like me, you're going to want to put a few more single crochets in, and I'll tell you why. because if you look at the top of your pointed cone, and we're going to just zoom in on the point of this, you can see that the cinched circle started into the second row over here. And if you've watched any of my previous tutorials, you'll know that I always consider that first to second row break, where it starts to spiral, as the beginning point of my work. And in fact, if you were to count your rows, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know you've done 7 rows here, but if you were to go from this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you've got an uneven cone. And the only reason for that is just that every single time you increase in the round, you're just sort of knocking yourself backwards. Not a big deal, but because I want it to be totally even, I'm going to add a few more single crochets across the bottom of this star point. And I'm just going to do it until I feel that it aligns with my starting point. And maybe one more. One more. Okay. And then once I'm satisfied, yep, so there's my start point. There's my last single crochet. I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch and cut a nice length of about 5 inches, maybe a little less, because I'm going to sew it on using that length and then just fasten off. So here you're going to want to pause the video. You're going to want to make 6 more of these so that you have a total of 7. And as you can see, it's like a cooking show. I went ahead and baked a bunch of bread already. So here are my 7 star points. And we're going to sew them on. And there's no super fine science to this, except that I think that the single point at the top, so over top of the face, with 2 corresponding on the bottom, I think that's the most attractive look. And 7 is a lucky number. So I was really excited that this worked out to have 7 even points all the way around and that I could align it in that way. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did with this one. I'm going to take my first point and I'm going to grab my yarn needle. I'm going to thread up my nice long tail that I left myself. And this is my favorite kind of sewing. It's like super slop sewing. I'm just going to grab this little tail and pull it in. So that doesn't need to be in my way. All right. Get in there. Right on. Okay. So I'm going to look at my face and I'm going to take my little point and I'm going to decide that it probably looks good right up there. So I'm going to hold it in place. And as you can see, I've kind of split it so that it sits over top of that nice single crochet kind of border we gave it when we sewed the 2 together. And I'm just going to, instead of whip stitching or anything fancy, I'm going to insert my yarn needle into this first stitch at the back of my star point, go right through the part of my sun where I single crocheted all the way around, so right through that stitch, and then pick up the corresponding stitch at the front of the star point. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So I'm going to go back into this one, I'm going to pick up stitches here, and then I'm going to pick up the next stitch at the back, and I'm just going to sew it on like that all the way around. So you get like this sort of half unfinished, half finished edge all the way around. It looks like this, and as you can tell, that's cute. It doesn't look bad at all. It just looks like you've done some slip stitching across the top of it. So go ahead and sew all of your sun points on, and I will see you in a few minutes. Okay, so I've sewn on all the sun points, every single one, and what I've done is I sewed it so that I could match up most of the strings, just so I could save myself some extra knots. So I'm just going to go ahead and knot the pairs that I have. And once I've done that, that only leaves me with one oddball string that I need to knot on something. So we're just going to knot these, knot those, and I'm just going to quickly knot this. I'm just going to pick a random couple of, I'll just make sure these 2 are knotted together. Pick a random couple of stitches, and turn it into a knot. Then I'm going to weave in all of my ends. So I'm going to pick up the stitches along the bottom of each of the sun points, and after I've woven them in, maybe gone back and forth like once, I'll just bury whatever's left in the actual sunshine. And if there's really not much, then I'll just snip it off. And you're going to do that for each, all the way around. Oops, snip that too. Getting lazy here. Okay, two more, and we're done. We're done the sun, and then the sun is done. Happy, happy sun. I don't really know a Japanese maid cafe tune to sing to this, but maybe we'll get the Chibis to compose something and they can sing it later. And one more, and then we're done. For fun in the sun. Hey, this is literally fun in the sun. Bad joke. Rotten joke.
Wah, 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 wah.
All right. And there you have it. A happy Amigurumi sunshine. And now there's two. Go ahead and like this tutorial if you found it useful, especially if you found you happy and if it brought you some happy sunshine to your happy life. I will also have these available as a pattern to download off of Etsy if you would like to have your own copy. It's a nice, pretty formatted looking thing. Please let me know what else you would like to see me do in the future. I am going to keep on the spring theme, I think, and I'm going to try to come up with maybe some more fruit, possibly some animals. I'm not sure. I haven't quite decided yet. That will be decided later this week, I think. But stay tuned. I'll be uploading the strawberry how-to tutorial as well very shortly, and then we'll be into a whole new week of adventure. So please like and subscribe and tell your crafty friends, and be sure to tune in every week to see what I'm up to, and we'll continue to stitch it up together. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you. Next.